Match number 23 sees the Lions travel to the Eden Gardens, Kolkata against Gujarat. Notwithstanding Mumbai's result a day before, these two teams at opposite ends of the points table. Kolkata having lost at home and Gujarat have lost just about everywhere. To look ahead to that game on ESPN Cricket for match day T20, Manu's played for Kolkata. Manu had a bad meal in Gujarat. We're not going to talk about Brad Hogg's encounter with kebabs in Rajkot. What we will talk about, boys, is this game, and it's big for Gujarat because their losing is a habit and they've developed it in this year's tournament. Let's go straight to match day match point number 1. We're talking about how Kolkata start their power play strategy, which I'm sure Akash and Hoggy, both having played for this franchise in different years, will just throw some light on. We'll first just show you some numbers, gentlemen, on how teams have gone in the power play. And in spite of some crazy decisions like putting Narayan at the top, trying Colin de Grandin at the top, of course Chris Lynn in the beginning, which wasn't crazy but it worked out well. 9.9 is the best run rate in the power play, and they are pretty much they're well clear of anybody else. So let's go to Akash Chopra and ask him to try and tell me in 45 seconds, what is it about Kolkata's power play strategy that's just taken us all by surprise, Akash?
It has started, or it is happening because of the absence of Andre Russell. Previously, they had Andre Russell and Yusuf Pathan going hammer and tongs towards the end, and therefore their finish was always strong. But since Russell is not there, they have adopted a different strategy, having an explosive opener at the top along with Gautam Gambhir, and therefore their power plays are obviously yielding more runs than anybody else. And Gambhir is obviously just playing along the way he does. I think it's just to do with Andre Russell and nothing else.
Okay, with some time to spare, so I take it to Brad Hogg. This team's hit more boundaries in the power play than anyone else, Hoggy. I'm just trying to understand what the think tank would have been like. Let's put Narayan up top, maybe try Colin de Grandin. How unusual do you see this to be, or do you think it's just very, very smart out of the box thinking? Off you go.
I think it's extremely smart. If you look at Gambier's run rate or strike rate last year, it was 120. This year it's 140. Last year he scored 54 fours and 6 sixes last year. He hasn't scored any sixes this year, but he scored 30 boundaries in 5 games. So he scored half of his boundaries this year in a third of the games that he's played last year. So that tells me that playing the likes of Lynn, Nareen, de Grandin up the other end, who are attacking batsmen, they get them off to a good start. The bowlers start to get a little bit worried about, right, if I don't get it right to Chris Lynn or I don't get it right to Nareen, I'm going to go for a boundary. But then when Gambier comes on strike, they go, right, I can get a dot ball here, and all of a sudden they bowl a wide one. He gets cut for a boundary, or he gets clipped off his leg for 4. So I think it's
very smart.
I think it's extremely smart because it's freed up the Gambier.
Okay, well, let's see who they send out in that game against Gujarat, which takes us to match day match point number 2 on Gujarat being powerless in the power play. It almost tells you that even if they want to put Lakshmipati Balaji, their bowling coach, as an opener, it might work, because if we look at the numbers of the Gujarat bowlers, they don't stand out, and this was one of the fast bowling units of last year, the seam bowling units that excelled when Gujarat made it to the top of the league. They've gone at 9.9 at an economy as a team in the power play. Pune second. We know they've had trouble with their Indian fast bowlers. I'm actually a little surprised to see Punjab right at the bottom. So it's not all bad when it comes to Punjab's bowling. But yes, let's get thoughts on that. Brad Hogg, Gujarat's bowlers, they've left out Dhaval Kulkarni. They've tried different bowlers. Can they find some stability when it comes to playing a good attack like Kolkata?
I was surprised that Patel got dropped last game. I think Kulkarni up the top, Patel, Tampi, I think he's bowled extremely well. But the thing why they haven't been successful in the power plays is their spinners aren't getting wickets. Their spinners have been getting pounded in that power play as well. They haven't been dominant. And if you look at the other teams, their leg spinners are getting wickets in the power play. The reason being is they've got more variety, they bowl quicker, and with that variety, they bowl leg spinners with the new ball, but they also bowl some back spinners that skid on, hurry the batsman. So I think it's their spin department that lets them down, Gujarat, not so much their pace attack. They've got a very good pace attack,
okay, well,
just not supported by the spinners. All
right, now the personnel has been a problem, and Suresh Raina's use of them also. So let's ask Akash Chopra now. Just looking at all the options, Munaf Patel returned from the dead to play in this IPL. Thampi, Praveen Kumar, Kulkarni, Kaushik has been used in the power play. How would you steady this down? What would be your advice? How would you operate in the power play if you were Gujarat's captain? Off you go, Akash Chopra.
Firstly, start by playing 2 overseas bowlers. So you've got Ty, play Bravo if he's available. If he's not, then James Faulkner. These 2 bowlers must play. Then you go to Nathu Singh maybe. He's someone who's in the camp but hasn't been played yet. Basil Thampi is a good guy. And just stick with them because your spin resources are just non-existent. There's only Ravindra Jadeja and then nobody. So it's not necessary to play spinners if you don't have. Go for quality, not for quantity, and therefore I think they are a wafer-thin bowling attack, and if they don't try to address it, they'll come out on the wrong side of the result every single time, and they're up against a very good batting unit anyway.
So it will be a challenge. Akash Chopra, more returns in less time. Fantastic. Thank you very much. But Brad Hogg, we've got you for more time, so I can totally get that. That's all right. Yeah. Let's go to match day match point number 3 now. Our individual battle between this in this contest is Brendan McCullum. God only knows why he wears that hat against Piyush Chawla. Maybe the boys on my left will tell me why a hat at night. Piyush Chawla, if he does play, he's been good, but McCullum against leg spin has always been an interesting competition to watch. Numbers, if you look at McCullum v Chawla, and you can see that there is Chawla who is rating on top 4 times. He's dismissed the former New Zealand captain. Strike rate is just 80. Okay, Brad Hogg, make sense of that to me. He'd played a daft shot against Chahal in the last game, did Brendan McCullum. Would you play the leg spinner looking at that and looking at how McCullum's in good form?
Well, Kuldeep's already had success against him as well. So either way they go, Kuldeep, Chawla, I think they'll both attack McCullum with either of those bowlers. The thing with McCullum is that you know that he wants to advance or play back, but he plays with a square bat. So as a spinner, you want to get extra overspin on there. You want to watch his footwork as well. So you get the extra overspin with that cross bat. You try and get it on top of the bat, so it's either a top edge or you beat the bat and get the stumping. For me, so when you see him coming down, you've got to drop it shorter. Hopefully it turns more with extra bounce, gets the stumping. When he goes back, hopefully you can pick it up earlier, bowl a little bit fuller and quicker, and just put the pressure on him.
Okay, still time to spare. Let's move to McCullum's record against leg spinners, and that's the reason we're asking this question. Yes, we know Piyush Chawla is not the preferred leg spinner, but will a team play a particular player when you look at the opposition, or a single player in form in the opposition? He's gotten out to Yuzvendra Chahal, Rashid Khan and Rahul Chahar so far, and yes, to Kuldeep Yadav. So Akash, maybe you can answer that for me. How much teams actually play one player looking at an individual player of the opponent team, and whether you think there's a genuine weakness that McCullum's got against the leggies?
You know, L, in any case, you've said that L in the IPL is for the leggies, and whether they bowl right arm, left arm, it doesn't matter. You at times plan for one batsman, and then you play over not one, maybe 1 or 2 batsmen, and then you play your 11 accordingly. But I think there is a strong case for Kuldeep Yadav to play. Either him or Chawla will definitely play. So you have a leggy bowling to Brendan McCullum, and I'm not surprised. Everything that Brad has said, I think I completely, totally agree with him. Cross bat, going downtown, you're going aerial, you're giving opportunities, and leggies, whenever you need wickets, you go to leggies. And it's not just McCullum. I think a lot of overseas players will have a similar kind of returns against the leg spinners in this IPL.
Excellent. 27 match points. You two finally managed to agree. Well done.
Thank you.
Good job.
You were outstanding. No reason to disagree.
Maybe they will disagree when we talk about Aaron Finch, because there seems to be a disagreement on where Aaron Finch should bat. Is he no good at 4? It seems like Smith and McCullum are the preferred opening pair. Jason Roy comes and goes, so does Aaron Finch's kit bag. But let's look at some numbers before we take this conversation further. Opening, his strike rate's 133. He's got a lot more runs, and at number 4, well, there's not much of a difference, but there's not been much of a sample size. I think we have to ask Brad Hogg, who knows a bit about Aaron Finch, as to whether he is most effective up at the top of the order instead of coming in with a couple of overs at times to spare. Hoggy, your thoughts?
One thing I know about Aaron Finch, he loves to bat in the top order. He loves to bat in that power play. The reason being is the ball comes onto the bat, the field's up, and he's got the opportunity to score more boundaries. He likes to go over the top as well, so that means the opposition can't spread the field. They've only got 2 fielders out, so they've got to strategise to where they think Aaron Finch is going to be strongest in the aerial route. I know Smith does a great job up there, but he's not consistent enough. Finch opens for Australia, opens for his franchise back in Australia as well. that's where he's best suited. And where they're at the moment, they've got to make that change now and have Smith back down the bottom order and utilise Smith with his medium paces as well.
All right, on cue perfectly. Akash, you know, I think the world is divided into people that like Dwayne Smith as a T20 opener and that can't stand Dwayne Smith as a T20 opener. I'm just trying to see where you sit on it. And when you have Aaron Finch as an option, or maybe even Jason Roy, how you play around with these four?
You know, I am of the opinion that they should play only 2 overseas batsmen. You can pick and choose. Baz, of course, will be the first man. You can either go with Roy, Finch or Smith, but you cannot go with 2 of these 3. So that's a choice that GL must make. And now that Ishan Kishan is doing well, Suresh Raina will do well. Of course, he's done okay. So let's just play along with that and then play 2 overseas bowlers. I don't think in their lineup they have the luxury to go in with only 4 or rather 4 Indian bowlers. They need 2 there, and therefore they might want to compromise a bit on their batting, because you cannot address your bowling woes by strengthening your batting, and that's exactly they've been doing so far.
Okay, there you have it. Now let's talk about what the possible 11 could be when Gujarat and Kolkata take the field on Friday. Let's get Brad Hogg to pick his 11 for Gujarat. You've heard Akash's comments on where how many bowlers he'd play, what the combination would be. Let's see what Hoggie's gone for. Let's see if they agree on this. Right, let me count the bowlers. Kulkarni, Samphi, Munaf Patel's back for you, Hoggie, Ravindra Jadeja. Okay, you've played McCullum, Finch and Dwayne Smith. Is that the order you'd play them in? Just your thoughts to take me through that team, Brad Hogg.
Well, I've gone for the Indian bowlers. I think Patel did a great job last time that he got the opportunity. He should play again. Tampi, I really enjoy watching this guy bowl. I think he's going to be something special down the track. Kulkarni, they've tried Kumar. Kulkarni played the last game. You've got to give him another go. But they've got to get off to a start as well. So those bowlers have got to do the job. They can't rely on Jadeja. Jadeja's not bowling well. So that's why I've still kept Smith in there. I would have liked to played Faulkner, but I'm just a little bit worried about his batting at the moment. But Finch has got to open, Smith down out 4.
Okay, so not really a change in personnel, barring 1 or 2, but certainly a change tactically, says Brad Hogg. What does Akash Chopra say? Let's see the Kolkata 11 that he would pick. If he was the man telling Gautam Gambhir what to do, I don't know if there is any such man on the planet that can tell Gautam Gambhir what to do. Shakib Al Hasan, stop the press. Shakib Al Hasan makes it into Akash's team. He sticks with Nathan Coulter-Nile. And well, I wonder who's going to open in that team if you are to go with this crazy strategy that Kolkata have been going for, Akash. But 45 seconds for you to take me through your team.
You can have Sunil Narine opening. Of course, if you want a striker at the top, you can do with that. I'm playing Shakib Al Hasan because spinners have still managed to stitch a web around the opponents at the Eden Gardens despite the grass. So have another bowling option. Colin de Grandhomme hasn't been used properly so far. So I'm just resting him. I'm playing Chris Woakes. I was very tempted to play Trent Boult, but since Nathan Coulter-Nile did ever so well in the previous game, it's unfair and criminal to drop him. So he plays, Kuldeep Yadav plays, and that actually looks like a solid team to me. MI, KKR, they are the best 2 teams in the tournament at this point in time.
All right, so I'm guessing no one fancies an upset.
No. I think Kolkata are going to get over the line, and I think Narine, with that team, Narine's got to open because it just frees up Gambia and allows Utapa to come in out 3 if Gambia gets out early, just to stabilise that innings.
Akash, after everything you've said about Kolkata, I'm not going to ask you because it would be a complete anomaly to all your analysis then. But thank you very much. Always a pleasure, Akash Chopra and Brad Hogg. That game, of course, kicks off on Friday. Remember, you can catch our live show 7:30 p.m. India time on espncricinfo.com as well as our Facebook page. Catch all our content on Facebook as well as on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel. It'll be all chat from Brad, Ajit Agarkar and Akash and the rest of our panel through the course of the tournament. We'll look forward to seeing you on our network then. Until then, it's goodbye.